Well, I've had a lot of medical issues, and I've had it for a long time, since I was a baby. When I was born, from the day I was born on, I've had a lot of medical issues. And as a result of that, the first 20 years of my life, I spent a significant amount of time in the hospital. So much time that I wasn't able to graduate high school until I turned 20. But that was because I spent so much time in the hospital because of medical conditions. Growing up in a large family, I was number 5 out of 6 kids. Was really, most people would think, because I was the only child that had issues, medical. All my other siblings had absolutely nothing wrong with them. And they were all honor students. They all graduated, cum laude or summa cum laude, valedictorians. My sister Chrissy was the first girl in the history at Sacred Heart Catholic School in Springfield. In the 150 years, she was the first girl to be able to take physics. My brother got a perfect 36 on his ACTs. I, on the other hand, it took me 2 years longer to get out of school, get through school because of all the medical issues. Nobody was expecting me to be, valedictorian. And just having accomplished it was pretty significant. In fact, I think by the time I was 20, I had already had over 30 operations. And then for the next 20 years, up until I was about 38, 39 years old, I had absolutely nothing done. I hadn't been stepped foot inside a hospital in 20 years. And then from 39 on, I've had 6 brain surgeries, 1 open heart surgery, 1 elbow, orthopedic surgery on my elbow. So it's kind of weird having struggled for the first 20 years of my life to attain and master things. It's really a big achievement. And then, of course, going to college and meeting your mom. I remember the very first time I met her. For the next 20 years, it was normal. Had 3 beautiful children, a house, a job, very, very ordinary. And to me, that's all I wanted, because I didn't want all the other stuff. I just wanted to be ordinary, just like everybody else. And I guess as a result of that, my early experiences, I kind of appreciated it more than most people.
Can you go into detail about what was wrong medically?
Well, they didn't know what was wrong with me for those first 20 years. And then, and after the first 20 years, everything kind of settled down. I didn't have any more problems. So at that point, I wasn't really too concerned about it because everything had been resolved. Up until that point, up until even to the point when we had you, we had no idea what my condition was. They had not seen anything quite like it. And what they did was called a spectral array. So what they did was they just tested for everything. And they were looking for a gene defect anywhere. And what they discovered was that I have a genetic defect on the same gene that causes Ehlers-Danlos. But it's a different protein enzyme. So it's not Ehlers-Danlos, but it's exactly like Ehlers-Danlos. So it might be a new variation of Ehlers-Danlos that they haven't seen yet. But they have not found Um, they don't have a name for it. It's never been seen before. This particular gene mutation has never been seen before.
What are your symptoms?
Loose joints, multiple dislocations. I've had dislocated knees, toes, fingers, elbows, and then hernias. I've had about 6 to 8 hernias, and brain surgery at Chiari.
Can you explain what Chiari is?
Chiari is, so with mine, the cerebellum, the actual brain, has actually slid back and through that hole. And it's come down through that hole. So my brain has slipped down into that hole, into the cervical spine. So that's why I've lost my mobility to turn left and right. All of this is direct result of the connective tissue disorder.
So how, like in a non-medical sense, has your medical issues affected your life?
I can't work anymore.
Right.
And I used to be a social worker. It's pretty amazing. You don't really appreciate your memory or appreciate what you have until you lose it. A lot of people take it for granted. I guess that's my claim to fame, if you will, my having survived all that. All of it was difficult, some of it was severe. But, it's just kind of strange how God works in mysterious ways, and it's difficult, and as life might seem at the time, you just don't know what the results are going to be. I mean, miracles do happen, and they can happen.